everyone. Welcome back. I am finally back in my own seat. I got sort of my seat taken away from me last week, although it was all in good fun. I hope you enjoyed that very interesting and I'd like to say complex episode with Annabelle and Percy last week. They did me a huge favor though. Originally, they had taken over the seat because I had some work priorities that I had to see to on Wednesday. Thankfully, they actually ended up taking over my seat because my dog ended up getting sick that day. And so I spent the evening in an ER vet, which was not the highlight of my day, but I did tune in and watch a little bit of them live. And it was momentous and interesting and, somehow rewarding. So still, again, huge thank you to Annabelle and Percy last week for taking over the podcast. But now we are back and we actually won't have any friends this week, except for they are my real friends in person and two people that I am extremely excited to talk to. I'm going to bring them on here in a second. One of them I used to do podcasts with back in the day. Huge fan of her, always been a fan of her. She was the other queen to my queen. She was my partner. I absolutely adore doing podcasts with her. She now is a big shot, clearly, and is just completely taking control of Charlotte in all facets and manners. And I'm so excited to bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Sharman. Hello, my lovely.
Oh, I'm blushing. Good job I've got a ring light on because my cheeks are a little rosier than they look without the ring light.
I have missed you so much. We used to have the greatest time doing Queens of the South. Again, if you have been on my podcast journey and if you've been on Jess's journey, we used to do a podcast together called Queens of the South where we talked about Atlanta United. We talked about, I let Jess handle most of the tactics and then I got into
the
some
World Cup. Do you not remember the World Cup special?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh man, such good times. We had some, I think, favorable and memorable conversations. Some of them might have been over wine, but they were fun regardless.
Everything is better with wine. That's a fact. If I could commentate with a bottle of wine in one hand and maybe a glass of champagne in the other, it would be fun. But
that sounds like something I definitely want to do. Sign me up if you ever need an assistant. So you right now are the radio color commentator on WFNZ in Charlotte. And I know we'll get a little bit more into that as we go, but I do want to go ahead and bring on our other guest, who again is another good friend of mine. And I know that you guys sort of know each other in passing. It's a very interesting mix up from this episode because we're definitely going to be talking about Charlotte FC. So I definitely look forward to getting into that with you. But we're also going to be talking about Soccer on the Streets, which is an organization that you used to work with. So it's a good crossover. But I do want to bring on James here. James Vecchi, correct?
That's right. How's it going?
Yeah, got the last name right. James is the operations and leagues manager at Soccer in the Streets, and it's an incredible organization here in Atlanta. We're going to talk first sort of about Charlotte FC and the budding rivalry, and we're going to get everybody's comments and feelings on what that may or may not be. And then we'll move into talking about Soccer in the Streets, which I know is an organization that, again, you guys both worked for, but also is just an organization that's near and dear to your hearts. So, James, Charlotte FC, I could definitely let Jess lead into this, but I do want to ask this question off the bat. Do we think there will be a rivalry of sorts between these two clubs?
I think so. I think based on just Twitter alone, there already is one. But
so it's like the Twitter rivalry game. Is that what this is? It's just like
I don't know. I think it's natural. Yeah, when you're that close to each other, I think it'll come naturally. But I think a few people who've maybe been on the show before, who I won't name, have already helped stir that up pretty well from what I've seen. So It seems to be a healthy
if anybody
one so
wants
far.
that reference, that would be Annabelle. Annabelle
Look,
definitely.
well, let's be honest. I accidentally stirred it up for game one. Accidentally stirred it up.
That is true. I'm glad you started that conversation and not necessarily myself. Again, Twitter is such this odd space, and it's actually really interesting because, you know, they just announced that Elon's going on to the board. I know this is like a totally different path, but Elon's going onto the board, and like one of the things that he wants to implement now is an edit button, which I think is sometimes controversial, right? Like sometimes tweets should just sit where they are, and sometimes they should be edited. Like for me, an edit button would be like, I have dyslexia, so whenever I tweet really fast and then I send something out and I'm like, that totally is spelled correct, and like there's nothing absolutely wrong with that tweet at all, and then I sit there for 3 minutes and people have started commenting and I'm like, that's not at all what I said. It's like one of those, like, that's when an edit button would be great, but like for other important things, I think it's silly to have that. But on that note, I think Twitter, the rivalry between Charlotte and Atlanta has gotten a little tense and heated. There's been a lot of plays. What I think will be the really interesting part, though, between this quote-unquote rivalry will be what this weekend feels like. And I know that's going to be sort of a big weekend for you, Jess, because clearly, you know, you were within Atlanta United for a long time. And, of course, you still love the club, but you now represent Charlotte.
Yeah, I think... Because if Charlotte FC heard me saying I still love the club, I think I might get fired. So let's say I have a lot of respect for what Atlanta United does. I'm very grateful for the opportunities I had. Without Atlanta United, I wouldn't have been found by Charlotte FC. So I want the success for everybody involved with the club. I think what they've done is an excellent model, you know, and Charlotte FC even openly says they have a lot to learn from Atlanta United in their build. But I think you're right. I think Twitter has become a very fun place to be around, you know, like these banters and these rivalries. It's not a bad thing. It's fun. It's fun to be a part of. I mean, look at both Nick Kelly, the, you know, CEO of Tepper Sports, and Darren Eales and Trainee McTrainface. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's playing into this rivalry, and you can't say that it's not being stirred from both sides with what even the club's official Twitters and stuff are doing. So I think the biggest thing will be how competitive this match is on the weekend. It's very important for a rivalry that it's a competitive game. And I think that's what really made it more within reach, because when we last played each other at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it was a fun match, bar the last minute to call, bar the last minute. But fun for you guys, well, I mean, particularly the last minute.
You guys got your I might have peed my pants a little bit, not gonna lie, of joy, clearly, but which again, it's a crushing blow, right? Because again, like you said, that game was enjoyable. It was back and forth. There was a really long period of time there where the game could have gone either way, and both teams absolutely fought to the dead end. It ended obviously in a way that is not necessarily desirable for Charlotte FC, but you guys also got your first goal in club franchise, which is a huge moment. So,
it's a huge moment, and they're going to play those videos for years, you know, forever to come. It's going to be played, and it's going to be exciting for Charlotte FC that it was against Atlanta United. Let's not talk about your defending from set plays though, because that seems to be a weak, particularly weak area.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're referring to.
No goals from set pieces. No goals.
No, we don't do that. Those are flukes. Every time it's a fluke. We're incredibly solid defensively when it comes to set
But I'll say, I know no matter what the scoreline is, I will not be at all confident until the 96th minute has passed, because when it comes to stoppage time winners and tiebreakers, that's something that you guys have made a mark for yourself since it's...
I don't necessarily like that though. I mean, like, you definitely, for me, I mean, I feel like you should try and do everything you can do to where at the end of the game, it's just to see the game out, right? It's just to make sure that nothing crazy happens. The fact that we've now become this stoppage time stealing points team, like, great, we're getting the points, but like, please, my anxiety.
But you're burning calories. High. You're burning calories watching the game because your heart rate's so high. So then you're burning off your wine. Think about it like that.
That's true. Thank you, Atlanta, for clearly helping me burn the calories from a wine that I've very, very much consumed during the games. A wine, beer, whatever ends up happening, whatever you end up drinking during the game. Now, looking at this game, this is an important game, I think, for Charlotte. I mean, you guys are ninth in the standings. What is Charlotte looking forward to from this game, and what are you hoping to get out of it?
I think one of the biggest things, and it's something that Atlanta United has always done, is turn your home ground into a fortress, quote unquote, right? Nobody wants to go play at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's a very difficult place to go, whether it be because your side is used to the environment, the turf, and also the incredible fan base. No one wants to go and play when thousands and thousands of Atlanta United fans are letting you know that they hate you, quite frankly. And I think that's what Charlotte FC wants to turn Bank of America into. They want to turn it into a place where people look at their schedule and they're like, oh, that's going to be a hard place to travel. So I think the fact this is at home is a really good thing. We've kind of we faced you on your territory. It was a close match, like you say. It didn't go the way they planned. Now they're looking for, I wouldn't say revenge, but to play a very similar game. It was a close game. It was a battle. It was a fun match to be a part of. It was fairly even, more even than I think anyone predicted. And I think that's what we're looking for on Sunday, to be an even game, both sides missing some players, which is going to make an impact as well, obviously more so on the Atlanta United side, unfortunately. But I think that as long as it's a competitive match and it's fun to play in, and hopefully neither team gets any injuries, because I don't know how many more players anyone can afford to lose. It's
been really bad at the beginning of the season.
It
just feels like a lot of teams have started coming in with these like player injuries, and I don't know if that's just from 2021 honestly was a very weird year, right? So it just was coming off of 2020, which we will never speak of again. And will always be sort of this interim year that always just felt strange, like taxing and physically exhausting, and just you kind of also want to just forget that it happened. And then I feel like we get into 2022 and it's like everyone's trying to think that everything's normal again, but players have a lot of physical attrition that went on.
Long-term effects of not playing consistently, of not having the same rehab or the same, fitness training. When I was playing in college, you did so much stuff as a group of injury prevention that these players missed out on during these times. And I think that when players have a lot of off time, kind of like even when us, right? Like when we play pickup consistently, we feel good when we go out there. When we take 6 months to a year off, come back in, what do? We pull a hamstring. It's one of those things where I think it's been a really damaging thing to a lot of players, and you've lost it. It's like going home for the summer during a college season, coming back, and you're more at risk. So hopefully we're coming to the end of that trend and things are getting back more to normal. But I think it would be silly to not analyze the difference that the last couple of years have made, really.
Yeah. I think when they go back and they look at it, I think there's going to be a lot more evidence that shows players have dealt with, and that the amount of injuries has greatly increased from years prior. I think just again with the start-stop of play, it's hard to keep that physical level up. I mean, these people are paid athletes. Like, they are paid to physically work and strain and build muscle, and losing that for the amount of time that they did is definitely hard. James, what are you looking forward to out of this match against Charlotte this upcoming weekend?
I would take a draw happily, because I don't even know what team they're going to put up, and I've been to pretty much every game at home here. Like, I'm a diehard Atlanta United fan since day one, but I have no idea what the lineup's going to be. I don't even know the extent of our injury roster. I was like trying to look at it today before the show, and I was like, wait, he's injured? I didn't even know that, because there's so many other marquee players above him, that it's just, I have no idea what to expect, and I'm pretty worried. I
think we don't need to necessarily get into how bad it is, because I don't want our conversations to be surrounded around, the lack of depth that we're going to be going into this game with. I think that, again, Charlotte's going to have a lot of weight and momentum around this game. I think Jess is absolutely right. They're going to want to keep their house a fortress. They're going to want to get the 3 points. And they're also going to want to, be like karma's a BI.
But I want to say, like, I know you have a lot of injuries, but you still have so much quality. You do. You have a lot of quality within that team that can still be damaging. And I think another brilliant thing you have, and it doesn't get enough credit, is Atlanta United too. MLS Next Pro, formerly USL Championship, has been an amazing thing for Atlanta United. And when I was involved with the twos, it was such a privilege to talk about these players who you knew had something really good going for them. The likes of George Campbell, who I got to call Jackson Conway. And I think that that's where you have that advantage. And when Charlotte FC gets that MLS Next Pro next year, I think that's going to be huge because it's squad depth that you don't even think about until you need it.
Yeah.
Caleb Wiley.
Yes.
Shout out Caleb Wiley.
Yes.
He's got a soccer in the streets connection too,
Eat that pizza, James. Eat that pizza.
That's right.
I don't know what that meant at all. I just laughed. That's a very weird thing to say. Do we want to talk about?
So his dad is a great player in his own right. Who owns Oz Pizza over in East Point, and he helped us get the pitch out there behind East Point. So, Caleb was instrumental in that, and it's kind of his idea, I guess. So that's pretty cool.
It's a good location for it. It's like kind of neat. It's urban, and then I will also say Oz Pizza is some of the best pizza in Atlanta. It's absolutely delicious. I used to be so lucky that I could walk there from where I used to live. Jess knows that. She actually used to come.
You're not in that house. I love that house.
No, I've moved from that house. I'm now in rainy Midtown, really close to Piedmont Park. But no, I unfortunately I'm no longer within walking distance of Oz, and it is sad. But it is great.
Sacrifices you have to make.
We are doing pickup and leagues down there in the spring, so if anybody's down in East Point, hit me up.
Good job doing your job.
We'll definitely get into the leagues, though. I don't want us to ignore the league portion of this, and so we'll definitely get to that. No, I'm saying we're totally going to get to that. What I do want to sort of
talk what's on your head? Did you just pull a wig off? Like, I seriously thought you just took a wig off.
No, this is my...
For those that will be listening to this via podcast, I have a headband on because I go through these hair phases where I'm like, I want to do this. This will be great. Like getting bangs. And then I get the bangs and I'm like, this is great. And then a month in, I'm like, I hate this choice. And now I'm going to grow them out. And so now I'm in the space between having bangs and
it's so awkward, normal. Isn't it? It's so awkward because they're too long down your face, but you can't part them. And the Alice band doesn't work when you're playing soccer.
No, it doesn't. You know what we're talking about, James? You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
You deal with bangs all the time.
Yeah. I've got...
Yeah.
A little bit of gel.
It's so long. I don't know how you're holding it together.
Now I'm revealing what's under my hat. That's why I'm wearing a hat.
Hats are the perfect way to look together but not be together.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
I wear hat down. Yeah. The hat down. That's all there is.
That's all there is. I wear hats so much during work because sometimes I'm like, it looks like I did something. Ta-da! It's so wonderful. This is completely off topic. Annabelle is in the chat. Thank you, Annabelle, for coming. He did say, I'm going to put this up so you guys can see this. He did ask you to take your shirt off, James, just so you know.
Hey,
standard.
Maybe stick around to the end,
Thank God he
stick around to the end. Who knows? Shout out to Annabelle, my Sunday keeper. Respect.
Oh, are you
a
on my
he is?
No, he's all over the place as far as I know. He's a mercenary, so he's got multiple games on Sundays.
That's the best part about being a goalkeeper is you can pretty much go into any team and they need you all the time. You're like the most valuable adult pickup player ever. And then a female goalkeeper, when I used to like doing that, oh my God, I was like gold dust.
Oh yeah.
This is a great transition.
Yeah, start paying them. Start paying the keepers.
I got you, girl.
Jess, I actually wanted to get into like your history and like how you came into doing color commentating and like who you are as a person, in case anybody is not aware of who you are and the amazing things that you've done. So clearly, this is a great segue because you yourself used to be a keeper. Originally, you are
up there. Look at me kicking that little ball.
I don't know. Let's see if I can go to a full screen of that. There we go. Do you want to show off your room? It's right there behind you, right?
Oh yeah. Here's my glorious trophy cabinet from all of my leagues. Look, fundraising MVP, soccer in the streets. What can I say? But yeah, started off as a goalkeeper. I'm not even in the picture now. Started as a goalkeeper playing in England. Did the whole bend it like Beckham transition to come play college soccer. And I used to play in the women's team and would commentate for the men's team because they needed someone to do it. And when you're an international student, you can only work on campus. So the only way I could make money was doing something on campus. And who wants to work in the tutoring center when you can commentate soccer for money? So did that, got pretty good at it. And then left college, and Phil from Soccer in the Streets, I had done a little bit of volunteering, a bit of coaching with Soccer in the Streets. Phil was like, hey, actually, there's a full-time gig. Do you want it? I was like, absolutely. Took a full-time gig on the fundraising events and kept doing the commentating on the side and kept really driving around across every state and every league that would have me to commentate. And then in January, I guess someone that was meant to do it dropped out. And so Charlotte FC gave me the call, and it was a very, 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 very quick turnaround. But I think those are sometimes the most exciting opportunities when they hit you and you don't have time to think about it, because there was no option to me but to say yes. So yeah, fantastic whirlwind. But as James will get into, Soccer in the Streets near and dear to my heart, and can't wait to wear a dress and play a soccer game in. Is it October, James? October that I'll get to wear my ball gown and kick a ball?
Yeah, I believe so. Put me on the spot with that one, but yeah, I believe it's October.
Lee Woodsmall's not going to be happy with you.
No, he's not. Hope he's not in the chat.
So Soccer in the Streets, clearly it's an organization that's right now solely in Atlanta. I will ask James about, maybe plans for expansion later on. But Soccer in the Streets is an organization that really helps out the youth of Atlanta, particularly about, as I put down here, their purpose, which is to create young leaders who live enriched lives and cultivate healthy communities. And, the ways that they do this, and again, I'm taking from their website, and you guys will obviously clearly talk about how much it means to you and how you saw them implement this in your day-to-day lives with them. But they, provide free access to soccer. They break down transportation barriers to participate, which is huge. This is obviously a tie into the fact that Soccer in the Streets, I'm correcting myself. All of their pitches are next to transportation stations of MARTA. So anybody that wants to be able to go play soccer has the ability to take a MARTA to a soccer pitch, which is a huge proponent of breaking down that transportation barrier. They build safe places to play. Again, you have a lot of youth leagues for this, a lot of kids that come and learn how to play soccer in different communities around Atlanta. And they also provide pathways for growth off the field. So let's talk a little bit, Jess, about what you did for Soccer in the Streets and how you interacted with that organization and what that has meant to you.
I think I had a really special time at Soccer in the Streets because I got to see it from both ends, right? I was a coach, a mentor, and then I also worked within the actual headquarters of Soccer in the Streets and did a lot of the adult fundraising. I had the coolest job in the world when I think back to it. My job was to go out to bars, go out to sports venues, chat to people, get them to, sign up for these adult events that would fundraise money. And then I also worked a lot with big corporations. I worked with the likes of Salesforce, the likes of Deloitte, and I was helping, get those contracts so that they would support and create events for them to see where the money went. But I think my most special treasured memories of Soccer in the Streets and my time there was my work with the kids in Clarkston. Obviously, Clarkston, a huge immigrant community, which again, coming from an immigrant society is really important to me. And we did so much, and I bonded with those kids. They did a lot of life skills. We went to camp a couple of times, and the most incredible thing you can see with those kids in Clarkston is that, you can have 22 kids on the pitch and every single one of them can be from a different country. Like half of them can have English very much as their second language, but guess what? When they're kicking around the ball, no one cares. No one matters where they're from. And 2 of the kids that I stayed in touch with now have college scholarships. So the fact that they've gone from being refugees and coming here to the US to Clarkston to being worried about how they're going to afford to winning a state cup. When I was there, Clarkston, the boys team won a freaking state cup. So not only were they getting free soccer, but they were competitive. And I think that's the hugest thing, right? A lot of the time people think that kids that maybe don't have the resources to afford to play club soccer aren't going to be good enough. No, that's absolute garbage. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I think that soccer has struggled in the US, because you're missing a whole population of talented individuals by outpricing them. So absolute incredible charity. I know a lot has developed and changed since I've got there, but again, watch this space, because I will be nagging everyone on my social media in the next couple of months to donate to me, and I will wear the best ball gown I can find to play a soccer game.
So it's a good point about Clarkston too. Sorry to interrupt. But
no, go ahead.
The U16s and the U14s won a cup, Peach Cup, last season as well against academy teams. So, you know, they're competing and winning against players that have a lot more financial resources than they do. And I think it's just a testament to, you know, providing access, which is really our biggest part of our mission, is providing that access to soccer and to other resources for these kids that otherwise wouldn't have it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jess, I know you've got to go, so I don't want to keep you longer than you need.
Got a game to play. Hard life. Soccer commentator, soccer player. You know, dominating the rec league still.
I know. Where can they find you?
I am at Jess Talks Footy on all social media platforms. And as I say, Atlanta United, still near and dear to my heart, but obviously Charlotte FC is going to take over, and hopefully it's a great result and a great match for everyone on Sunday.
Where can they hear your call?
We'll be on the WFNZ app. You can see it online. And also what's really cool is Sirius XM's football channel has picked up our call as well. So if you have Sirius XM, you can access that as well.
If they are local in Charlotte, what would be the numerical station? Okay. No, don't worry about it. Doesn't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Let me find it on the app. Find it on the app, because I genuinely don't know off the top of my. Oh, it's on WBT this week. It's on WBT. It's on the news channel, celebrating its 100th year, and we are the first ever soccer team to be on their radio station, WBT.
Nice. Well, I'm so excited, and I am so sorry. I look forward. Odyssey app too. Thank you, John Roper. But
and then Neville, I will not take my shirt off.
Yes, that's it. Not gonna happen.
I don't want to get this locked off of YouTube. Apparently, you know, gender disapproval, but James could probably take his shirt off. If I did, we're in trouble.
So wrong. Thank you so much, Jess, and I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So let's talk a little bit more about you, James. Let's talk about how you got started in this organization with Soccer in the Streets, and what your pathway to this actual organization was.
Sure. So it really came, I'm coming up on a year here at the organization, and it really started, you know, post-COVID. I'd actually been working with them when things started to open up. I guess that was, you know, in the winter, a little over a year ago. I was just working with them as a site manager and a referee, just because I wanted to get back out around soccer. I'm a pretty avid pickup and you know, just soccer player in rec leagues. You know, I'm out there pretty much every night in some capacity, and you know, I really missed it over COVID. It was probably the biggest thing I missed during that time, other than my friends, of course.
I mean, we can say probably maybe a little less the friends.
There's a lot of soccer. Yeah, there's a lot of crossover. So yeah, I was just I saw an email randomly that they were looking for people and they need some help. And I was like, let me just get back out there. It's something I'd done for some other leagues in town. I'd worked for some other leagues in town for a while. And, you know, with with COVID happening, that all disappeared, and it was like 1 week it was there, 1 week it was gone. And so I was just really ready to get back out there. And so, it was like, I don't even care about the money. I just want to be around soccer. And, so that was cool. Got to know a new group of people through that. And, a couple months into doing that, got another message, in our group chat for all the, staff saying, hey, we're looking for somebody in this position, leagues and operations management, which is what I did previously before COVID at the other organization. So, I was like, I think I submitted my resume.
You're well qualified. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I submitted my resume faster than any other I ever have. Like to the point where I was like, not sure there weren't typos from the changes I had made. So, they gratefully they called me back, and we actually went through quite a bit of interviews. They were pretty thorough. So, and somehow I still slipped through the cracks and got the job.
Well, gosh, I don't know. Maybe we should have somebody reach out to Soccer in the Streets.
Yeah, no, it was they need to do the fourth check, and I skated by. So yeah, it's really great. It's an expanded role from what I was doing at the previously.
So what does an operations and league manager do? Like, what is your day to day? Like, what does that look like on like a Monday through Friday? And then does that implement on the weekend as well?
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those jobs that's like, it's not a 9 to 5. It's talking a lot with players and recruiting for leagues. That's kind of my primary role, is running the adult league side of things. So, our organization is really structured around the youth programs, the free youth soccer, and providing that access. And so we have a lot of people who deal with that and manage that on a day-to-day basis, a lot of coaches. And I'm the sole person running our adult side, which we use the same fields and we raise money through adult play for the youth program. So really, when you come out and play with us, you can feel good about where that money's going. It's going to help those kids who, when you show up early, you're going to see them out there practicing. So you can get a really good view of where your money's going.
What's one outside of, obviously Clarkston has been a huge example that you guys have used of the benefit of what this type of organization does. What's some other instances that you've seen where Soccer in the Streets really has benefited the community that it exists in?
Yeah, there's a lot. I would say the one that comes to mind, top of mind, is in the West End. There is a really big project that's been going on for the past year, really since it kind of came out of the COVID time, which is called Garden FC. And so there's a community garden there at the station right next to our fields. And, the program over there, while they focus on soccer, they also have time set aside for kids and their parents to come out, learn how to garden, learn about the growth cycle of their food in the different seasons. They're about to do their spring planting for a lot of things right now. So, and then they get to see this food, grow. They get to harvest it, and then they'll have one of the coaches, or they'll have a chef come out there and set up a table and cook up the food for the kids, and they get to eat what they grew all season. So it's really cool, providing this different kind of access, and that's one of the ways we do, sort of this social and emotional learning program around soccer. So soccer is really the tool, the vessel for providing more opportunities and learning experiences for these kids that they wouldn't otherwise have.
That's incredible. I actually had no idea that Soccer in the Streets was doing that. That's really kind of neat. Now, if parents, so let's explain a little bit about what Soccer in the Streets is as far as like what you can see from the surface, right? So these are soccer pitches that are next to MARTA Station. So if anybody that's listening, this is not necessarily aware of what MARTA is in Atlanta. MARTA is our transit system, right? It is the Metropolitan Atlanta Transportation Railway Authority, I think. Oh my God, I just came up with that on the top of my head.
Wow.
That's incredible. But MARTA is our transportation. It's our railway in Atlanta. And these are soccer pitches. Let's talk about like sort of the size and the feel of these so people can understand sort of like what it looks like.
Yeah. So they're typically they're a 5-a-side pitch. So sort of a mixture between, a smaller sided football pitch and like a futsal size pitch type of thing. So it has, I would say the style of play, it kind of feels like a little bit of a mix between the two, where you don't get a lot of touches on the ball. It's quick ball movement, or you do get a lot of touches because just the ball's moving around so quickly. And you might think, well, I'm not going to run as much because it's a smaller field, but it's actually the opposite of that. You're going to be moving a lot.
Sorry, my dog just started drinking out of my toilet bowl, so I had to yell at her. I am so sorry. That was the pause in this. If there's any, I am.
We've all been
there. Welcome to live podcasting. Oh my gosh! So they're futsal fields, which I've played on. I've played on these fields. They really do test your ability to play well with your feet. You really don't have that ability to space out, drag the ball, those sort of things. It's really quick movement. And these fields are turf fields, right?
They are. We use the same turf that Atlanta United has in the Mercedes-Benz. So Atlanta United's a big partner with us, and they've really helped kind of make those connections for things like turf and lighting and those kind of things. So we've got stadium lighting. It's really, really professional, and that's important for us, is to create these fields that these kids will, it's not just about creating a space. It's about creating a high quality space that they can actually learn and train in, and we can produce, a future generation of great players, and, just even players who are just doing it recreationally when they get older. It's a great, base of sport to build their life on and to learn different skills. I think, you really see how it impacts these kids in a positive way. Especially now that, a lot of school budgets are cutting things like gyms and recess times and sport, and those things are really going away. We're trying to step in and provide some of that for these kids.
How many fields do you guys currently have?
So right now we have 4, and those are at the 5 Point Station downtown, Lindbergh, sort of near Buckhead, just south of Buckhead, West End, which is in the West End, and East Point that we talked about earlier. And then we are currently constructing one at Kensington Station, which is right on 285 on the east side. So it's on the east. Okay. Yeah, it's our first one on the eastern line. So we'll have stations on every line now, and that one will be done in early May. So we should be launching that with Atlanta United and some of the players coming out there to help us kick it off early May. That's awesome. So definitely keep an eye out for that. After that, we're going to expand to Eastlake. So that's like sort of right between Decatur, East Atlanta, Kirkwood, that area. So
that's the area I'm looking at moving into. So like, I'm super excited about that field because it's going to be super close.
Yep. A lot of people are. And with Kensington too, we're already, hearing a lot of people. It's a really diverse community out there. A lot of soccer players, a lot of good soccer players, and a lot of kids. We've already started youth programming with our new youth coordinator over there, and she's already got like over 100 kids at one of the schools, Dunair Elementary. She's going to the school and doing the programming before we even have a field built. So we're really getting into these communities and trying to build this from the ground up, and so that they can be sustainable and successful for these kids in the future.
Yeah. Now, clearly this is an organization that was built out of Atlanta. Are there any talks for Soccer in the Streets to expand to further cities?
I've heard a few things. I haven't heard anything official. I know that when I first started, we got a visit from the transportation secretary at East Point. He came and he was doing a MARTA tour of the city, and he made that one of his stops. He actually gave a speech on the field and talked about how, he thought this would be a great program. He wanted to see it nationwide. I don't know, I have I don't know anything about plans around that. That's a little above my pay grade. But that was heartening to hear that, he thought it was such a great program and was really impressed by it and was like, this is something we need everywhere. And I think it really is kind of a no-brainer. If money wasn't an issue, then I think every city probably would have them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the adult leagues, because I know for you there are some leagues coming up that we definitely want to let people know about, because I know that a good majority of the people that listen to this podcast are, adults and may or may not play soccer. So let's talk a little bit about the leagues that are coming up and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, for sure. We're kind of in a growth period right now with our leagues. And so we're just looking to get more teams in. Right now we're running leagues on Wednesdays. That's our open league. It's probably our most competitive. And that's going to start up next week. We've also got a Thursday co-ed league that is also very competitive, I would say. And that's starting next week as well on the 14th. And then we also have a Sunday social league, which is pretty new. And it's really geared
What
more
does the social in that mean? Why is it a
social,
Sunday social league?
social really, it's a nice way of saying beginner to intermediate league, which I would place myself in. It's really
you're better than beginner in I think you're don't
intermediate. Let's go intermediate. Let's say intermediate.
Okay, I'll give you that. Sure.
But it's really geared more towards the social aspect. So coming out with your friends, on a Sunday, you might be hungover. I don't know your life. And
it is a Sunday morning, so there's that.
Exactly. And it's working off whatever you need to work off, and getting out there and just kicking the ball around with your friends, maybe scoring some goals that you don't deserve. I know in my case, that's usually what happens.
Not against Annabelle, though. Never against Annabelle.
Only once.
One of the best goalkeepers I've ever played with.
Only once. He remembers.
That, so I won't tell him to his face, but
top left corner, Annabelle. But yeah. So it's really. I think I started that league last year because I saw there was sort of a gap in folks that we were providing rec soccer to. Really, our weekday leagues were a little more competitive. And so I felt like when people came and started playing in those who were sort of more beginners or just maybe they hadn't played in a while, trying to get back out there, it was a little intimidating. And so this league's been a success in that regard, that, it's a more equal level skill, and people seem to have a good time coming out there.
I've
played intermediately on like a Sunday league there. Obviously, clearly, I've played with you, I've played against you, mm-hmm. I've played with Annabelle, I've played with a bunch of our friends. It is a really nice breath of fresh air, because I play co-ed leagues, during the week, and to play on Sunday where it is a little less about the score line and more about who you're playing with and just playing in general. It's really kind of nice and refreshing. And it is also a great time to air out some needs, in the sense of if you have woken up and you feel clogged in any way, in the sense of headaches or body aches. It's a great time just to come and maybe sweat some of that out. So, Sunday League, when does that start?
Sunday League is going to be May 1st. So it's a little offset. So beginning of next month.
So the two big ones are the Wednesday and Thursday leagues, which start next week, correct?
Yep. So still time to sign up.
Where can they sign up?
They can go to soccerstreets.org/play, or they can follow us on, we use an app called Open Sports. They can follow us there, and they can see all of our leagues. We also run pickup pretty much every day. We don't have leagues. We've got pickup going on.
Is pickup at all fields or at certain fields?
So right now we're running it mostly at Lindbergh, but we are going to be adding in the spring as people get out there and start playing again. Atlantans don't like to come out in the cold as much. So We're going to be adding West End, East Point, Kensington when that opens. Those are all going to have leagues pick up. So we're really kind of trying to, blow it up this year and really get a lot of folks out there. And I've already seen the numbers going up a lot for our pickups. So we're going to be, trying to get as many people on the fields as we can every week.
Awesome. So again, that was soccerinthestreets.com/play.
.org. Yeah.
.org.
Soccerstreets.org. Soccerstreets.org/play. Yeah.
I've completely butchered this. We're going to do it
all
one more time.
Our
Soccerstreets.org/play.
Yes. And like all of our socials are like at Soccer Streets, that kind of thing. So if you find us on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
So yeah, Instagram, there. Twitter, probably Facebook, but open play. Sorry.
Open Sports.
Open Sports. Oh my God, I am completely ruining this. Open Sports, okay. And that's something that they can find on Android and Apple devices, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Open Sports or soccerstreets.org/play if you want to register for the league. So you've got your Wednesday and your Thursday leagues that are starting up next week. And then you've got your Sunday Social League, which is a league that is great for it being on a Sunday and you needing just to play a little bit. And that will be May 1st.
Yep. And maybe they can play against you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I will say if they play against me, the one thing I will continuously say is do not shoot towards my face. I get very angry. It's a protective thing. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got one thing where they're like, don't try me in this particular area. And that would be my face.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's my whole body.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good marker. So I want to open this up to the friend zone, as I like to call it. Does anybody have any questions on Soccer in the Streets or the upcoming Charlotte game that is this weekend? James, what are you hoping that the scoreline is going to be at the end of the game? I know you said tie, but are you truly hoping for a tie?
I think I'm hoping for, like, if I wasn't pessimistic, a 1-0 win. Like, I think that's realistic. But I don't think it's going to happen. So
yeah,
I know people won't like to hear that, but I just realistically, I'm trying to keep my expectations low, so maybe they can exceed them. But yeah. Can I plug real quick one other thing? Because
sure.
My coworker will kill me if I don't. And this is also really important. It kind of ties back to what Jess was doing when she was at the organization, which is we have big tournaments throughout the year, and so we have one this weekend. So it's a little too late to kind of promote that. It's on Saturday. That's the League of Nations. Where people kind of pick their nation, they represent that nation, fundraise around that, and then come play a tournament. Similarly, though, June 11th, we've got the Atl Champions League, and that's probably our biggest one of the year. Regularly raises, tens of thousands of dollars for our charity. So it's really, really important, and we're still looking for teams. We're still looking for captains. We're still looking for players. It's a really cool opportunity, and you get, a day full of games. There's prizes, there's raffles, there's all kinds of stuff. So we even have like a commentator and a DJ.
Oh, wow.
And
that happens at Midtown High, right? Normally?
This one's going to be at Silverbacks Park.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we usually have enough teams where we're running 5 games at a time throughout the day. And they have enough fields for us to do that. So it's a really big event. It's going to be really fun this year. But yeah, June 11th.
And then when's the black tie one? Clearly that Jess is, I know she said it was October.
Black tie is in October. Yeah. I don't remember the exact date right now, but it's a little ways away. That one is more of a like a fundraiser game where people come and they dress up in their black tie and a lot of guys in dresses. You'll see the British guys love doing that for some reason. It's their culture. But it's really fun. They let me referee that last year, and I don't know if they'll make that mistake again. I gave a lot of
you never know. I mean, maybe you'll be back by popular demand.
Yeah.
Where can they contribute to these events? Because again, these events are huge fundraising pools and resources for Soccer in the Streets. Again, Soccer in the Streets is a nonprofit organization, so they go off of donations and these types of events to help run these again, the youth programs that they have, like the Garden FC and like the kids soccer coaching programs. Like a lot of these big events help fund those for the year. So where can they help to donate for that?
So it's the same place as soccerstreets.org/events, but you can just go, I mean, right on the top bar there, you can see all of our leagues and events and all that stuff and learn more about the programs that we support. That's the best place to go, really.
So soccerstreets.org is honestly the place you should go to. Either it's events, it's play, it's whatever you need. Learn about them. Again, an incredible organization in Atlanta. James, thank you so much for coming on. I am not going to put up the question in here because it's from Annabelle, and I'd rather you not have to take your shirt off. It's such a great kit. So I'd rather you not have to take it off. Do you want to show it off? Because this again is an elite. Sorry for everybody in the podcast. It's how did they pronounce it? Is that
Venezia? I think.
Venezia?
I think so. Yeah.
That company is the most incredible kits, and they're always sold out every time I see it drop. I never make the cusp of like being able to buy one. So super jealous of your kit.
I think I got it on the third try when they re-released it. So yeah, they went pretty quick.
Yeah, they sure do. Well, thank you again, James, for joining. And again, that's soccerstreets.org, where you can either do /play or /events, or just learn about them in general. Any last parting words, James?
Just look for us. We're going to be doing 2 stations a year. So, we're going to be expanding. So it's going to be in your neighborhood in the next couple of years, if it's not already. So keep an eye out for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. It was great having you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And that is going to be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed that. Again, I look forward to seeing everybody's reactions from this upcoming weekend's game against Charlotte FC. I really don't know how that game is going to go. Like James said, it's kind of we don't know who's going to be on the field game. So how can you truly predict what it's going to end up being? But regardless, so incredibly glad to have Jess join and James join. They're 2 incredible people that I enjoy talking to and hanging out with in real life. And they are clearly a great guest for the show. So I'm so thankful that they came on. I have to do the selfish plug right now. That would be subscribe, like, if you're listening to this on podcast, give it a 5-star review. You never know. Answer the quizzes I put on Spotify. If you're on Apple Play or Apple Podcasts, I'm sorry, they don't allow me to do quizzes. Maybe Apple should figure out a way to do that. It's interactive. It's fun. Hang out, whatever. But we do this again every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Be sure to check me out on the socials for when I drop who the next guest is going to be next week. That's at the Kelly Francis on other socials. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry my dog tried to drink my toilet water, but it will not happen again. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and have an incredible upcoming weekend.